during anything in your life that can be stressful or hard, is my opinion.
I love it.
Hey, Kristine, why don't you tell her about your emotional support robot you want to get?
So I was just telling Kris, because he's not okay with me getting a real dog, I went on Facebook Marketplace.
And now, coming to you from the K2 studios in San Diego, California, it's the world famous Kris and Kristine Show.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? How you guys doing today? I am Kris.
And I'm Kristine, and welcome to episode 31 of the Kris and Kristine Show.
Fantastic. It is the 31st episode of the official world famous Kris and Kristine Show.
And we are world famous because we're fabulous.
That's right. That is amazing. So, Kristine, being that is the big 3-1, we're getting up there in age, aren't we? 31 episodes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what I actually did on my 31st birthday, and I can't really remember. It was kind of an unremarkable birthday, but this is not going to be an unremarkable episode. It's going to be one to remember.
That's correct. We have a fun-filled episode this week for you guys. And thank you. I got to say thank you. And thank you for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it.
And I am ready to bring it today, Kris, because I have been quarantined up in this place for 15 days now. And so I had to channel a little bit of feistiness because, the days just drag on.
You would not believe the feisty Kristine has been going on tonight. Oh my goodness.
I have my punk rock ponytails on.
Well, does that give you the right to be all feisty McFiferson?
Hey, you said to me, I like it when you bring the heat, Kristine. I would like it if you were a little bit feistier. I like the banter. And so I just thought, you know what? I'll go for broke tonight.
Yeah, cashing all your chips in the table. Say, hey, cash it all in. Let's see what happens. Let it ride.
Yeah, what I've been thinking about actually is this is probably why married couples don't go for 2-week honeymoons. They probably keep it to 3 to 5.
No, I have seen people go on 2 or 3 week, even month-long honeymoons.
Well, what I was going to say is the majority of couples don't. They go for 10 days or less. And I think it's because when you're cooped up together for that long, the feistiness really comes out. Now, I have to ask you, Kris.
Yeah, what's up, baby?
Do you like the feistiness? Put you on the spot.
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, but the thing is with Kristine is that she's actually been stuck here in the house. I don't think she's ever left the house. We left yesterday.
We went and we did a parking lot picnic yesterday.
Like a lot of people do, because you can't eat inside a restaurant. You got to go pick it up to go drive through or pick it up, curbside or however they do it. And you got to take it somewhere else, and we were out and about. So let's go to an empty parking lot, because guess what? That place was closed too. Most places were closed.
Yeah, because in San Diego last weekend, even after they put the stay-at-home orders in place, people were flocking to the beaches because it's almost time for spring break.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cops put a big kibosh on that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, because people were worried about that actually really contributing to the COVID-19 crisis. And so all parks, all beaches, even the historic Hotel Del Coronado is closing down after this weekend.
Wait, they're not closed yet?
No, because they were waiting until they were honoring their reservations through this weekend, because they are in their 132-year history, they've never closed their doors, or 136 years. And so it's really historic, but they're closing down after
the cops,
today.
I think they made them close down.
I don't know, something like that. But the thing is because they're located on Coronado, and there's been some military cases with the ships that are based out of North Island right there, that it's just too dangerous. So
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, they are, like I said, the beaches are all closed, all the roads, all the parks. Basically, they're saying it's had a great day today, too. This weekend was fabulous. It was sunny and warm.
It was, and there was nowhere to go.
And yeah, you couldn't do anything. They wouldn't let you do anything. So what are you supposed to do?
I guess I'm starting to really understand what a puppy feels like when they're like sitting at the window waiting for their owner to come home, and they're like...
Oh, is that what you do when I come home from
Yes,
work?
I get so excited. That's why I stayed up on Friday night until Kris got home from work. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And he's like, I'm so not used to you being up.
I know, it's so
and I was
weird.
like, don't you want to talk to me? And he's like, good night. You could go to bed. And I'm like, what? What? I've been waiting all day long.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because Kristine has a perfect little, by the way, Kristine's little office for work. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love it. I get so jealous of your cute little office.
My home office?
Your home office. It's amazing. I love it.
Because at work I have a cubicle.
Yeah, you have like, what do you stare at a wall or something?
I stare at a gray wall, and it's a faux wall.
A foam, like a fuzzy wall.
Like fake.
Wait, it's a fake wall?
Well, it's like a cubicle wall, so it's like a half wall.
Well, you wouldn't hang like anchors from it, but I'm saying like it's physically a barrier that you can't see outside it, right?
It's only a half wall. It's only like if I stand up.
Oh, you can look over it.
Like there's a window in it, yes, and it's open. And it's on a main walkway, and I love where I work, but it is on a big walkway, and I have a skylight above me, but there's no windows right where I'm at. And so now at my home office, I have a window, and today I was working in there, even though it's the weekend, I was doing some schoolwork, and I had the window open, the birds were chirping, there was a slight breeze, and there was a little bit of sunshine, and it was like glorious.
Amazing.
So thank you for helping me get set up over here, Kris.
Oh, you are so welcome. I think after working in your home office, didn't you tell me last week that you said you're actually getting more done now than you ever did before?
Well, I always get a lot done at work, but I feel like it's not that I'm getting more done. It's like I'm making myself do more. I don't know if anybody else out there that's listening feels like this, but it's almost like when you're working and not in the office, you want to prove to others that you're getting a lot of stuff done. And so I try to overdo it. And so I found myself not taking a stretch break, not taking a lunch break. And then next thing I looked up at the clock and it was 5:45 and I'm supposed to be off at 5. So I'm just having to watch it really carefully to make sure that I don't blur those boundaries.
Well, it's funny thing is you say a lot of people are actually working from home remotely, being that it's under the big quarantine. But if you go out and about, not that you have, Kristine, because you've been locked down,
I know.
but out and about where I've been out all over the city, it seems like the roads still seem busy. There's still traffic. There's still people out there. You go to the stores, people are out there. Restaurants, drive-thrus, tons of people. So, it's kind of weird, because if everybody's out and everybody's supposed to quarantine, it's still busy out there.
Right. Yeah. I only hear about it from others because I'm not actually there and seeing all the people out and about. But yeah, I think that people are starting to listen, hopefully. I saw this post on, and then we'll get off this topic because nobody wants us to keep talking about it. But I saw this post on social media, which was like, I feel like we're back in kindergarten where there's only one kid that's not following the rules and the rest of us are getting punished. Stay at home, people. It's just like that whole, if everybody would stay home, it would get better faster. So stay home.
Yes.
Listen to us.
Do the right thing, But unless you have to go to work like I do, I have to actually go to work and all that stuff. It's
because you're essential.
Yes, I'm an essential worker. If it wasn't for me, nothing get done around here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Kris is going to wear a badge from now on. He reminds me of it. Like, I'm essential. I have to go out. But anyway, so Kris, what have you been up to this week other than working?
Well, this weekend I mowed the backyard. I did some lawn care, got out there, did the weed whacker, did the mowing the lawn, the backyard. I hung up some cute little solar lights in the backyard along the fence. I love them. They're amazing.
They're so cute. It was like a DIY project, but those were in the ground lights before, right? And you put them on the fence?
Yeah, they were we had these what do they call them? Driveway lights, I guess. They're like driveway solar lights that you put on by your driveway in the dirt, but they get run over or something happens to them. Some were broken. I don't remember what happened. Right. So I took them all down. I got different ones, and I still had them in the backyard. I'm like, those things would be kind of cool if we could take some wire or something and hang them on the fence posts. And it's exactly what we did. I hung them all along the fence posts in the backyard. And at night now, you actually have this nice little setup. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about you is that you figure out how to use things and repurpose them and come up with really innovative ideas. When you were first explaining it to me, I was thinking, there's no way that's going to work. And I remember when we were walking down the aisles at the hardware store or wherever we were, and you were telling me your idea, and we were going back and forth. Like, I don't know if you remember that. That was a huge argument at like Home Depot or Lowe's.
What about the lights itself?
About like, I'm just going to use this wire and I'm going to wrap it around in this way. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. We need to get a bracket, which reminds me of our same exact conversation I had about hanging the plates on the wall. Maybe I just need to get out of your way and just not chime in.
Well, here's the thing. I think I look at it as like a common sense thing. Like common sense says, using Scotch tape to glue plates to a wall.
Are you really bringing that up right now?
It's not going to work. It's like even any kind of tape is not going to hold on a stucco. What is it? Not stucco. What kind of wall is this? Finished wall? I don't know.
It's stucco, but it has like a glossy paint over it. It's not like a regular flat paint.
Well, most walls are like this kind of wall. And Kristine took these beautiful plates she got, decorative plates, and she used, what kind of tape did you use?
Well, they were 3M foam tape that I'd used because I'd done a plate wall when I had an apartment, and it lasted for 2 years on my apartment wall without a single issue. And so I was ready to do the same thing here, and I bought the same exact stuff, just a little bit heavier duty because Kris had said, well, on my walls, like things don't stick. And so I was like, okay.
Nothing stays on my wall unless you like hammer it to the stud.
Right. So I got extra of this tape, and it's like, it's not just Scotch tape, it's foam 3M tape, you know, like the removable stuff. Like you
put it like on the little edge rim trim.
Which is what I'd done before.
The plates, by the way, are on the backside. They are not completely flat like a piece of paper. They have like a little ridge around them, and that little ridge is what she used to tape it on. So you get this tiny little micro ridge. It's probably like maybe 2 millimeters in width. So 2 millimeters of grip is all you really had on the wall.
And in my apartment where I used to live, it worked perfectly. However, you came up with a great solution after multiple plates fell and broke. And just like you did with the solar lights today, you got these really creative DIY projects. And I think that those little lanterns look so cute. They look like the lanterns that you would see like from a 1920s movie, like hanging on a walkway, like not down low, but like the ones they used to light, like with
like a kerosene
like the
lantern.
little gas lamps.
A gas, yes, that's what it is. It reminds me of the gas lamp. I got my own little gas lamp quarter right here in my backyard.
It's so adorable. I love it. And then when it lit up tonight, it was so cute, and I was so excited to see that everything worked out for you and how cute our backyard looks. And thank you so much.
It looks great when I mow it. It does look good when you do take care of it. Don't let it go to trash. So enough about me, Kristine. So what happened with you?
Well, I got sucked into a new Netflix series, and I know it's been blowing up the internet, but it is crazy. And I can't believe that I allowed myself to get sucked into it. But I have to admit, I have been a little bit hooked on Tiger King.
Tiger King, huh?
Yeah.
That sounds like a used car lot.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I put it on for you for like 15 minutes last night, and you fell asleep after like 3. But it is wackadoodle. It's crazy. And in this crazy world, it actually is a little bit calming to me for some reason, because it's
really?
Like there's crazier stuff that's happening out in the world. And
crazier than this, huh?
Yeah, way crazier. Like I can stay at home and be safe because I'm not trapped at home. I'm staying at home so that I stay healthy. But this show is just bizarre. And now I want a baby tiger cub.
Well, we'll get you one. I promise.
They're illegal. You can't have them at home anymore. But maybe a stuffed one, because I do like
I don't think you want a tiger, because after watching that show, the people that are involved in that show, I don't want you turning into
I know, they're crazy. They're so crazy.
Any of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was an interesting show to watch, and we have an interesting show lined up for you today. I'm really excited. Kris and I are both very excited that we have a guest that is coming on the show with us right after this, and we will be back and hopping right into that interview right after this.
Hey there, K2 crew. We love having you as our loyal listeners.
To keep up to date with what's happening behind the scenes, check us out on social media.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
And don't forget to follow our Facebook page.
Yeah, tag us in your favorite fun stories, and guess what? You might just end up on the show. Ooh. Okay, welcome back, everybody. And we have a special treat for you guys. Ooh. We have a VIP guest here. Well, not actually here, coming to us virtually. We have the one, the only, Ashley from the Loud But Harmless podcast.
Whoa!
How you doing, Ashley?
I'm good. Just chilling, in my house.
Are you social distancing right now?
Of course. I don't want to get the corona.
The Corona. The Corona 19.
I don't want to get it.
So are you physically on lockdown? Are you out and about? Are you working out? Are you doing anything like that?
The first week, I thought I was on a permanent sleepover, and I just stayed up till like 2 a.m. binging shows like Nurse Jackie and Tiger King, and eating Red Vines and Doritos, and not showering or washing my hair. I was like a bum. It was not cool. In my house, having a sleepover with myself. Like I should have frozen my bra. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this week, I've been turning it around. Like, I've been slowly getting into what I call my quarantine routine, which my psychology made me write down so I can follow it.
Tell us what that is, because I think that we need a routine. So enlighten us.
No, you really do. I told my best friend this morning, she's like, I'm getting anxiety. Like, right? Everybody's starting to go stir crazy at this point because it's day 7 of the quarantine and the lockdown. So I just told her, like, make a routine of things that you normally would do when you're home. Like, for me, I would, wake up, make some coffee, walk my dogs, read the news a little bit, take a break, walk the dogs again, do some yoga, study, take a break, make some lunch, read a self-help book. You know what I mean? I just pick things that are healthy habits that really, like, make me feel good and I'm taking care of myself, and fill your day with those. But you don't need to stick to it completely. Like, I've barely been sticking to it, but every day I get a little better.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Every day I get a little better.
Now, so
I may or may not be drinking a beer right now, but every day I get a little better.
So you mentioned your dogs. Kris and I were just having a conversation because we don't have a pet, and I'm trying to convince him that a dog would be good for me. So
how do you live?
I know. So give me your best
we used to have
pitch.
a dog. We used to have a dog, but my previous tenant that lived here with us, my ex-wife, she took the dog with her.
Your ex-wife lived with you and your wife?
No.
I was like, oh my God, you're like Doc Antle on Tiger King. Sorry, I'm obsessed with Tiger King. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I've been seeing it trending across social media.
It's the craziest show.
But tell us your best pitch for why Kris should let me get a dog.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's so many dogs that need to be saved. Get a rescue first and foremost.
Yes.
All 4 of my dogs are rescues. For me, they're my emotional support animals, like legally. And they will basically look at it like this. Every day they wait for you. They always will love you. It's unconditional love from this little nugget that you take care of. And the bond that you have with these dogs is so special. And they really are, if it's legal or not, your emotional support animals during something like this, or during anything in your life that can be stressful or hard, is my opinion.
I love it.
Hey, Kristine, why don't you tell her about your emotional support robot you want to get?
So I was just telling Kris, because he's not okay with me getting a real dog. I went on Facebook Marketplace and I found that they have these little cats and dogs that look real, but they're not. But they purr and they breathe. And so it just tricks your brain into thinking they're real. He's almost on board with that one.
Kris, why don't you want a dog?
No, I love a dog. Actually,
What's your problem, Kris?
I built a dog house a couple years ago.
I thought you loved your wife, Kris.
Well, we're not married yet, but
Thought you loved your fiance, Kris.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. Do
you?
Yes, I might get a dog. I missed the old dog we used to have here. I missed him. Miss Jake. He was this big Labrador.
You?
Oh yes. Yeah, I'm the one who took after him. I took him on walks. I picked up his poop. I did everything. And
that would
look
be
at
the same. That would be the same. So I think he doesn't want to take on the responsibility because he knows.
Why wouldn't you take care of the dog?
Well, I would take care of it emotionally.
Why would you not walk it?
I would walk it, but I wouldn't necessarily pick up its,
Poop? Like she didn't even want to say poop. That's so funny.
Yeah, but I even built a doghouse in the backyard. I got a doghouse.
Did?
Yes, I built it from my bare hands at a scrap woods.
Wow, that is amazing.
I know. I got carpeting in there and everything.
What? That is oh my gosh, I'd give anything to have that for my dogs. They would love it.
My kids love playing in it now as like a little hideout.
Okay, don't your kids want a dog too?
Oh, they do. They love dogs.
Are kennels on lockdown right now?
They're not. So I did my research, actually. And you just have to schedule an appointment in advance. See, I've done all the research.
Yes. Okay.
But yet I'm very open about the fact that I don't pick up dog poop. So there you go.
Oh, man. Well, you do have the backyard, so you can have the dog go there, and then Kris pick it up, and you do everything
That was
else.
what was happening for a little bit. I got two backyards to my house. I have like the nicer backyard with like the grass and like the chairs and patio. Then I have like the crappy backyard, which is like where the air conditioning unit is.
It's like a dog run.
Dog run, just
Right.
junk area, and that's where the dog house is. And the dog was back there, but he would dig so many holes, like try to get out from under the fence. Every day I go out there, and I'm like, "What did you do?" And
What kind of dog?
It was a golden retriever.
No, a yellow
yeah.
lab.
Yellow lab. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Labs.
Okay, yeah, yellow lab, but he was big, and he wasn't neutered either. So his big, what gonohonas hanging underneath him when he'd walk around.
Always neuter.
Well, the plan was he was a purebred. We were planning on breeding him, but that never happened.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. No, I do get it. I love labs. They're great dogs.
Oh, he was sweet though. He was a big guy. He was very big though, but he was very sweet.
Okay, so you guys are getting a dog. Go on.
So maybe. But we brought you on because we wanted to hear about you and all of the exciting projects that are going on in your life. So why don't you give us a little bit of a insight into what the Loud But Harmless podcast is about? We've listened to it, but our listeners would love to subscribe.
It's my radio fix. It's also very therapeutic for me, only because I've been through so much the past couple years, and right now I'm on the other side. We're currently regulating my meds, all this, right? Like I've flipped over, and if you listen to my podcast, the Loud But Harmless podcast, especially if you listen to the morning show I used to be on, or if you know me at all, because I was in radio for like 14 years, and I still am. I do Alt 94.9 once a week, but obviously right now I'm on furlough. So the podcast is my baby. It's a way for me to talk to the listeners, help the listeners, make the listeners laugh. It's a fix for me. It's like my radio fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing I do miss from being full-time on a radio morning show is the listeners. That was being able to talk to them, help them, make them smile, make their days better. That was my favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
So I still get to do that through the podcast. And it's very therapeutic for me. If you listen, you're going to hear just the raw me. I mean, I don't really hold back, and I got a lot going on. And I feel like, it's a very relatable podcast. You kind of feel like you're just hanging out with your friends, and you definitely don't feel alone because we're all whacked out. We're all weird. We all have mental health stuff. So you just know that you fit in no matter who you are.
Oh, that's great. Now, when you started your podcast, was it very nerve-wracking to do, or you just fall right into it because you had your radio background?
Well, I was drinking every day at that time, Kris, and I was totally numbed out. And so when I did the podcast, it sounded like, am I allowed to cuss? It sounded like poop. Sorry.
Oh, really? Well,
Sorry,
yeah. We try to keep it.
I know your fiance hates that word. It sounded like poop.
Well, ours did too, because at first when we started doing this, I had this idea, I've always wanted to get into radio like you, and I've always wanted to do that from back in college, and it never worked out for me. But when I heard about podcasting, I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to do that, but I didn't want to do it alone. I didn't want to be this preachy, boring podcast that just do it by themselves. I wanted a co-host. I didn't know who would want to do it with me, but Kristine said she wanted to do it, and I said, well, great, let's figure this out. Let's figure out how we can do this.
And so he drugged me into it. But yeah, like you said, it's our baby. And so we totally can relate to that and how it's a creative outlet for you. And I could see how in the midst of this really uncertain time, how having that creative outlet that you can plug into without leaving your home is really helpful. Like you said, it's therapeutic, right?
Yes. And yesterday I did a It's All Mental podcast. Normally I do it once a month, but in this madness, I probably will be doing it a lot more. But that's where I really dive into what's going on and how you can maybe prevent triggers from happening. You're going insane in your house. You suffer from depression or anxiety or insomnia, and you're massively stressed, whatever it is. The It's All Mental podcast gives you tips on how to treat those symptoms, on how to calm it down, stay strong, and be able to handle this madness that is a pandemic that we are going through.
Oh, it's crazy. You know,
It's nuts.
I don't know if you know what I do for work for a living.
No, I don't. What do you do?
This is not my day job, by the way. I make nothing off this podcast.
What?
But I know.
I don't make anything off mine either, for the record.
Well, it's for fun. It's all for funsies.
Totally.
But I'm actually a truck driver for a gasoline gasoline company.
No way.
I deliver gasoline to the gas stations around San Diego. And work has been really kind of slow because everybody's been at home.
Oh, sure.
You know, we haven't been. This week has been kind of a weird week where they cut our hours. You know, we're not against hours. All overtime's been cut. I'm still going into work, but now they're going to start sending us out to the desert, out to El Centro.
Why?
To deliver the stations out there.
Oh, my God.
From San Diego to we used to do that years ago, and we called it going over the hill, and I hated it.
And why do you have to do that?
Because
they're running low?
No, because we have stations out in the desert that my company owns or whatever. So they used to have carrier companies do it for us. But now, because they're so slow, they're trying to find work for us to do. So they're saying, you guys go to the desert. It's like a 6-hour turnaround.
No.
And it's like through the steep mountains and down the desert, down to the hill. But I kind of hated doing it when we used to do it. It's like we're talking like listen to podcasts or whatever on your way out. And that's what I would do. And that's what I do. I listen to podcasts all night long at work for the most part. That's what I've been doing for.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Wait, Kris, before you go on that trek, do you take the gas that's in your truck to fill up your truck?
No, the truck, the work.
Your truck, your pickup truck.
My pickup truck?
Yeah.
Well, whatever truck you drive the gas in. Like, what if you ran out of gas and you have all the gas?
Well,
that's just funny. Sorry, I picture you on the side of the road. You're out of gas, but you have a whole truck full of gas.
You're just filling it up. No, the trucks run on diesel, so it doesn't really work.
Show off.
I know. But no, there's been times like they'll take a load of gas from San Diego out to El Centro and back. By the time you get back to San Diego, the fuel tank on the truck is like down to less than a quarter tank.
Sure. Yeah.
You know.
Wow, that's a crazy job, Kris.
It is a crazy job.
I would not be able to do that job. I have ADHD. Oh my gosh. I would jump out of my own window. I'd be like, no.
Well,
I'm going to go exploring.
He keeps himself busy with listening to podcasts, and so your show is one of the ones that he listens to, and so he was super excited. I'm not going to say that he was fangirling, but he kind of was to have you on the show. But I did have another question for you because I know that we're going to have to wrap up soon. But I did wonder, since you did have your podcast episode out yesterday, really focusing on mental health, from your perspective, being on the hashtag stay at home schedule right now, what would be your number one recommendation to our listeners for a thing that they could do to take care of their mental health?
If I were you, if you have a backyard, I would spend the majority of my time in the backyard. For me, I've got a really big patio and it's full of plants and I've decorated it all out. It's very therapeutic. I have been spending 90% of my day on the patio. I can do my work on my laptop. I can talk to friends, FaceTime or Facebook message with friends. I can, do my social media work that I do to keep the followers entertained and in the know. I can do it all from my patio. Fresh air actually is like really good for your body, your brain, your mind, body, and soul. Fresh air. And I think so many people are cooped up in their houses and they're going crazy. So, take long walks. You're allowed to do that, Get outside and breathe. And I know that you're like, wait, but the coronavirus, if you go in your backyard, you're fine.
Right.
You're still fine in your backyard. So I would be outside all day. Like if I were you.
I have a theory about the coronavirus. My theory is this.
Ooh, tell me. I love theories.
My theory is this, is that they want to keep everybody away. They want to keep everybody distant. They want to keep everybody quarantined or whatever, right? But people are out and about. You're going to run into people. You're going to run into it. Eventually, I think what's going to happen, I hate to say this, but I think everybody is going to get it at some point or be exposed to it at some point. And I think you need to focus on the cure. Focus on a vaccine.
Well, our California governor.
Yeah, the governor. Mm-hmm.
Newsom, he said that last night that he expects 25 million people to get it, or he thinks that that's what will happen with this pandemic in California alone. And there's 40 million people. That's more than half.
Right.
Is that going to happen? I don't know. It really comes down to, honestly, a lot of things. Us having enough supplies for the hospitals, and moreover, like, every single human needs to do their part. And so if you do not have the coronavirus, you need to stay at home, period.
Right.
Unless it's an emergency. When I went out to CVS the other day, I wore gardening gloves and I made a homemade face mask out of my yoga headbands because I just don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. You did that. I went out to the store too.
I got so many looks. One guy was so annoyed. Other people thought it was funny. I don't care. I just want to be healthy. I don't want to deal, with that nonsense. I just think everybody needs to do their part. And if they do, we will beat this a lot quicker.
I agree. And so we want to say thank you so much for being on the show. And Ashley, where can people find you on Instagram, and how can they find your podcast?
It's all loud but harmless. Everything I do is loud but harmless. So all social media platforms, TikTok included, just created an account because I've been content creating because it makes me happy and it makes you hopefully happy.
Did you get the email from SoundCloud?
I'm bored.
Did you get the email from SoundCloud? What? There was a SoundCloud email I got. It said something about SoundCloud collaborating with TikTok. Did you see that?
No, it wasn't with TikTok. It was with Twitch.
Oh, I don't know what the difference between these things are. I don't know. TikTok, Twitch, it's all the same to me. I don't know.
Well,
you're still out of the loop, Kris.
Yeah.
I'm an old fuddy duddy, okay? What do you offer me?
Yeah, old fuddy duddy. That's the best. I'm going to use that. Fuddy duddy. Bring that back.
I
and
just
then
did.
I love that. For the podcast, you can Google Loud But Harmless. I'm on all podcast platforms, and they'll all come up. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, all of them.
Awesome.
Oh, that is fantastic. Actually,
you're fantastic.
Thank you. You're fantastic. We're all fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the Kris and Kristine show today, and we enjoyed talking with you.
Of course, anytime. You guys stay safe. Wash your hands.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, what's up? It's the J-Boy Show. I'm Ezekiel.
And I'm Jacob. And I'm Mason.
And don't forget to listen to our new podcast on Apple Podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
We talk about sports, motors, engines, and all kinds of stuff.
And YouTubers.
And YouTubers. So don't forget to subscribe and listen in every Sunday.
Alright, and keep moving forward.
All right, Kris, that was a fantastic interview. And now I have a hot topic for you. Are you ready?
Ooh, what you got today for us, baby?
All right, so we've been on this theme of talking about how to help yourself feel successful while you're still under quarantine. But one of the things that we haven't really touched on, and I don't think a lot of people are talking about, is how to date while under quarantine.
What? How do you even do that? Because you can't even meet the person without oh my gosh, what if you're not supposed to meet anybody within 6 feet?
Well,
how does that work?
Well, one guy in Brooklyn, New York has come up with a workaround solution. His name is Jeremy Cohen, and he lives in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And it is now trending on social media, specifically on Twitter, and it's called Quarantine Cutie.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so here's the story. So Jeremy was in his apartment out on the balcony, and then he looks out at the building next to him, and he sees on the rooftop this female dancing around with, I don't know if she had her headphones in, but she was dancing around on the roof.
On the roof?
On the roof.
Hope
and
she wasn't going to jump off.
No, just dancing around, and she caught his attention, so he yelled over at her saying hello and waved at her, and she waved back.
Oh, wow, there you go.
But the story doesn't stop there. And so he used modern technology. He had a drone. He put his phone number and fastened it to the drone and flew it over to her and said, "Text me."
Wow. Did she actually text him back?
She did within a couple of minutes. And then on Twitter, there's this whole sequence of how this has transpired to where he was able to conspire with her roommate to set up a virtual social distanced date where she sat on the rooftop and he sat on his balcony, and then they FaceTimed each other and had a meal across from each other.
Wow.
And then he got a plastic bubble.
Okay, now you're going too far.
And he blew it up, and then they actually met in person on the street.
But he was in the bubble, though.
He was in the bubble. Yeah, he got flowers for her, and then he totally realized after that he couldn't give her the flowers because he was in the bubble.
Yeah, or because of the quarantine thing.
Right. But
See, this whole thing sounds like it almost sounds so made up. It sounds like a Hallmark movie. If it's not, it's going to be one, I'm
right.
sure.
Hashtag quarantine cutie.
It's probably in the works right now. I mean,
Yeah.
once the studios get back to work, they're probably going to put this out, I would think.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a funny story, but it really speaks to if you're a single person, how do you maintain your dating life while you're under quarantine?
How does that even work? I bet what happens is places like Match.com and Bumble and all those kind of dating sites, they probably they get the dating and the chatting and then and then maybe even the phone calls. If anybody really calls anymore, it's probably more texting, really. So I think people do that stuff, and then when hey, you want to meet up? Then it comes like a red flag, like nope, we're not doing that. But we can still text and chat and keep paying for the subscription to the service, so they make money too.
Well, yes, that is one way where they're doing that. But this other thing that has come about is the ability to engage in virtual dates. And so I found...
like a FaceTime thing? Or
FaceTime, well, there's a lot of different options for dates. You don't just have to do the traditional FaceTime or Skype, but I have a list of things that you could do if you are trying to figure out how to have a virtual date with somebody that you've just met and really would like to meet in person in the future. But we have some suggestions of things that you could do.
Okay, well, let's see what you got.
Well, of course, the first one is phone, Skype, FaceTime, or use Google Hangout or Zoom conference calling to be able to chat with the person.
These are all like video chat, like video webcam type stuff.
Yes, but there's this other one that I hadn't thought of. So, one of the things that you do sometimes early on in a relationship is like go to a movie and hang out and like talk about the movie after and get coffee or whatever, right?
Yeah, typically, I guess, yeah.
Okay, but when you are having to be social distanced and all the movie theaters are closed, you can't go to a movie. But there's this new thing that I'd never even heard of on Netflix called Party Mode.
Party mode? What's that?
Yeah, so here's what
on
it says.
Netflix?
Using your computer, you can host a Netflix party in which you can watch the same film together. You'll need Google Chrome browsers and the Netflix Party extension, which you can find here, which we'll post the link on our website. And you can then have the phone call running on audio so you can react in real time. Or there's a chat on the sidebar. So you could be watching this movie on your laptop or whatever and have the chat going with the person, or watching the movie and you guys be like, have one headphone in and like laughing at the same things because you can start the movie at the same time. And it's like,
how's that work? I mean, is a movie being played only on one person's computer and the other people watch? I'm confused.
yeah, it's party mode. But for this purpose, it's going to be like a virtual date. So it's like just you and one other person. And I guess the idea behind it is like, since you can't go to a movie theater together, and especially since like new releases are coming out even quicker on like streaming platforms, that maybe you could like see a new release together and, each pop your popcorn, whatever, and sit there and watch a movie. But what do you think, Kris? Like, could you get the same feel?
Yeah, it's almost like Netflix and chill, but with actually chilling. It's more Netflix. You kind of watch it together, and I kind of like this, actually. I would totally do this.
Would you really?
Of course I would do this.
Like, seriously, though, because I started to think about this, and I was like, I'd like the idea, like, with my girlfriends, all of us watching a movie together. But the article was saying, like, get them on the audio. Like, my biggest pet peeve, absolute biggest pet peeve, is when people talk to me during a movie.
Yeah, well, the chat thing, I guess, is kind of funny. It has to be a movie. If it's Netflix, maybe it's a movie that nobody really cares about. So it's like whatever movie, if people talk through, who cares? It's like a laugh kind of thing, like a background movie.
I don't know, but would you actually be on a phone call for 2 hours while you're watching a movie just for the sake of having a virtual date?
Of course I would, especially if you can't actually see the person. Oh, totally.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with you on this one, I guess. But I don't know. I'm still a little bit on the fence about that. I guess you do what you got to do for a virtual date, right?
Absolutely. So what else you got today, baby?
Well, still on that same one, when it comes to Netflix, it's talking about people with opposite schedules that are dating. And the idea was that instead of being on this Netflix party extension, that you could come up with a list of movies that you're going to watch together, but separately because you're, social distancing. And if you're on different schedules, that you just watch it when you can and then you talk about it afterwards. So if you can't have an actual virtual date, that it's still kind of like having a movie date because you've watched the same ones. How do you feel about that?
No, wrong. Don't like that at all, because I would be like, yeah, sure, I watched that. And you're like, oh, really? What do you think about this part? Yeah, that was great. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's no real. When you're actually seeing it together live, even though you're not sitting side by side, you have that interaction. You're seeing the same thing. You get to actually. It's almost as if you're in the same room, but you're not. The way you were saying the second round was that you would send me a movie to watch. I would send you a movie to watch, and if we get to, we get to. If we don't, we don't. Whatever.
And if you're like me, you totally forget all of the like details. You just remember like the broad storyline. You're like, that was a really good movie. It made me feel good. But then they're like, oh, did you remember like this bridge that they crossed? It's like has this historical significance. You're like, yeah, I saw that one.
I went got popcorn during that part of the movie. All right, so what else you got?
So the other things on the list for this distance dating idea is shooting video that you can. Okay, here's what it says. There may not be a ton of things to do around your house. You can shoot video clips and send them over at your leisure when you look the cutest, or if you'd rather say something than text it. These little gestures really help pass the time and help you connect on a deeper level.
I used to do that all the time. I'd send little videos, or I would receive little videos, and I would send them, and I totally get that. Yeah, it's totally cool. I would totally do that. I've done that.
But for virtual dating?
Well, no, it's like when you are dating somebody, you want to be cutesy, you just send a little video clip saying, I miss you or something.
You send those to me sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I send them very much. I'll send pictures.
No, not really. Yeah, you're more of a picture person, which is probably on this list too, I would think. Pictures, obviously, right?
No, it's actually not on the list.
What?
The next thing on the list, though, is to take up gaming. I disagree with this one, but they say to take up gaming, that you can put in more of an effort. And if you don't have the necessary tools, you could order it online. And online gameplay can add a fun element, especially if you're a Twitch streamer.
I don't know about this twitchy, itchy streaming thingy, but I do know that with like Fortnite and other games like that, you can physically have the headphone set and physically talk to the other person. So it's like you're on a date, you're kind of doing something interactive together and talking to each other. It's about as close to being in the same room or whatever as you can. It's almost like, remember going out to play miniature golf or bowling or activities when you do that on an actual date?
Yeah.
And you be physically doing something together, like a fun game. This is kind of like that, but you're actually not in the same room and you're talking over the headset.
Yeah, I guess that could be really fun unless you're me and you don't play video games and your person keeps dying. So then you have to like keep coming back into a level. I see Ezekiel, our 15-year-old that plays Fortnite with his friend, or well, his cousins that live across the country. And I was just thinking, like, if I was to play with him and I kept dying, like, it would just totally put, I don't know, a really negative spin on that date. And I guess the one thing that it'd
be fun, it'd be cute, because you're thinking about this. I think when you play these games or you watch these movies, because if I was dating and I was young, I'm not young anymore, kids, but I'm like a couple years above that. But anyways, so if I was really young and on the first date with somebody, I would be so nervous, and that I wouldn't even pay attention to the game. I wouldn't pay attention to the movie. I'd be more, oh, does she like me? Does she not like me? Does she think I'm cute?
You nervous? Psh.
Yeah, totally.
No.
Yeah, for sure. You know?
Well, what I was going to say is at least it would let you know whether the person was a good winner or loser, which is a real important character trait to get underneath, like to understand. Because if somebody's super competitive and they're a sore loser and that comes out,
things. You hear,
oh my gosh, you're going to hear that.
Like the window crashing, door slamming, and screaming on your headphones.
I guess it makes it easier to ghost people that way, right?
Oh, totally.
If you're only going on virtual dates, I mean, not that we're saying that, but it's yeah.
It's probably cheaper too, because those dinners you got to pay for,
Yeah. Although, like, one of the things that I read on the very first one when you were doing like Google Hangout or FaceTime or Zoom dates is that people can cook together and they can make that their date if they have like the same ingredients and they make the same meal and they're like cooking together while they're on
wow.
video.
That's
when
like,
they sit down.
That's deep.
Yeah, but when my friend Abby, she was in a long distance relationship and she was doing that with her boyfriend. They would have Sunday night cooking dates virtually.
Let me ask this side note here, Kristine. Now, this virtual cooking date, like you just said, how many dates into meeting the person online or however it is would you do that?
I don't know. I think it depends on if the guy was to ask you. Now, here would take it to a whole different level, is if he asked you out on a virtual date and then sent you the groceries for what to make together, so you had the same thing. That's classy, because I guess the one thing is with the virtual date is you get out of having to pay for anything.
Yeah.
There's no investment.
Right. Or the Netflix thing, like you said, and things like that, or the gaming or whatever. But I guess both you guys have to be gamers to really do that, huh?
Well, that's what I'm saying is if I'm not a gamer, but I get invited to go on a virtual gaming date, like, is it actually going to work out?
Oh, you know what? I also thought of something just now based on the Netflix version is that most people have TV, I would think, but maybe not. But like, remember back in the old days, everybody had cable TV, like regular television. That's all they had. So if something was on at 8:00, like a TV show you guys like to watch, it came on at 8:00, you literally could watch it kind of at the same time.
Oh yeah, like you love The Walking Dead. So like if we were having to be apart and that was your thing and I was into Walking Dead too, we could like be watching it and be like, "Oh my gosh." And like,
Yeah,
shh.
but you
Oh
know
my gosh. Oh my gosh, what's it coming?
Well, you know what's funny about that? When I used to have my condo years ago, I had we used to watch the Charger games all the time on Sundays, right? I'd have it going on in both televisions, one in my bedroom and one in the main room. But for whatever reason, there was a delay. I don't know. I think
That's funny.
One went through the cable box and one went through the wire directly from the wall. So even with that, it was like literally like a 10-15 second delay or
That's
whatever between
hilarious.
two TVs in the same house. So I can only imagine if you're watching the same show that you'd see something first before I did. Like, oh, look at that. What? Look at what? Oh, gosh, there it happened. Like something like that. It would totally throw it off. But I get the thing. You'd have to like sync it up. So I guess
that's the same thing. Well, I guess with the Netflix, if you're on that party extension, it would all be synced up. But that's, yes, if it's a show, like nobody's stopping to go to the bathroom. Like, with a DVR, like you can't stop. You have to run it at the same time.
Right. And it has to be synced up together. So I guess the best way to do it is maybe another way too is get a movie, whether you rent it on DVD or something, that both you get the same movie, and you got to say on the phone, okay, ready, 1,
3,
2,
2, 1. Oh, yeah.
play, and then you both play at the same time. That's like the best way to do it.
Yeah. Well, the last thing on the list is to make a music playlist for one another.
I am down for that.
But I don't
sure.
see how that's a virtual date. I mean, I totally love playlists, but
how's that even a date at all?
I don't know. It's like, go listen to this music. Maybe it's to like stay connected, to like share your musical interests. And did you ever used to make mixtapes for girls?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was the master of mixtapes. Are you kidding me?
Mixmaster Kris.
That's what I used to always do. I'd make these mixes and these little cassette, back at the cassette days. Kids, Google what a cassette is, if you know what that is. But I used to make mixtapes, cassettes, and I would send them out, and I would make them and play for everybody. Or then I advanced to actual compact discs.
Oh, I used to do that.
CDs, kids, look that up too. Google that too. And I used to make little mixed CDs and send those out. They're much easier to send out. And since everything was digital, it was much quicker to make a mixed CD than it was a cassette.
Yeah, I used to make those mixed CDs all the time. And that's how Ezekiel's father and I, when I was living back east, how we would like communicate. We'd send CDs back and forth to each other.
What was on the CD? Music?
Music, yeah. Like
voices?
my favorite music and then his favorite music. And then we had like this whole album of mixed CDs that we would share. And I used to make them for myself too, because it's like, well, I like this 2 songs off of this CD and this 2 songs off of this CD. And then I would play it in my car. But I could see, I do Spotify playlists with my friends from school.
Okay.
Like to motivate ourselves.
So now if you want to do that, you just do a Spotify or even Apple or whatever you got, Google.
Apple Music or whatever.
There's like, you can make a playlist and just share the playlist.
Right. So I guess that you could do that. I wouldn't
So
call
easy
it
too. It's super easy to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a virtual date, but it's definitely a way to get to know someone, is even if you have like different musical interests, to, get familiar with what they like to listen to. And actually, when you and I were first dating, you used to send me on Apple Music different songs.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have Apple Music, so I signed up for it, and then I started to curate them. So I actually have a whole list. I call it my Baylist playlist.
Aww. Of all the songs I've
All
sent
the songs that you've sent to me, and then
Well,
songs
see,
that...
this works. It must work.
And
People
it
are
builds
doing it.
memories.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, and then songs that we've listened to when we've gone to concerts and things like that, or things that really struck a chord. They really meant a lot to me, and so I've created that. So I could see how, especially if you're at a distance, because we had opposite schedules when we first started dating, how that could be really helpful, but especially right now when you're living the Q life.
Yeah, the Q life. So what else what else is involved in this article?
That was it.
That's it, the whole thing, huh?
That's all of their ideas that they had for us.
Well, if you guys are dating, or if you are trying to date right now and you are on Match or on Bumble or any of those kind of things, and you're scratching your head, how am I going to take this to the next level? Well, find yourself some curious, just figure out some ways you can figure it out,
Right, especially if we're going to be staying separated for a couple more weeks here at least, you definitely, if you have a chemistry with someone, you want to keep that going. And so come up with some fun ideas as to what's going to help you advance your relationship and see if it's worth meeting in person after the Q life has expired.
Okay, and now it's time for Shout Out Central, where we actually name off some of the cities on who is listening where you guys are from.
Yeah, but we're going to start out with our countries. So we want to say a huge thank you to our countries that joined us this week, and that would be Spain,
Woo!
Switzerland,
All right.
and Canada.
Hey, thank an A to you. Thank you for listening to our show.
Yes, thank you so much.
And for our cities here in the United States, I want to say a big shout out to the big city of Cleveland, Ohio.
Woo, woo.
How you doing? And also another shout out to Dallas, Texas.
Yes, we love those cities.
And for funsies, how about Salem, South Carolina?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Solvang too.
Oh, and Solvang. So, by the way, another one here we got is Solvang, California. I don't know where that is.
Yeah,
but
it's a little Danish town out on the Central Coast. It's really cute, and they have like little windmills. So if you're ever visiting California, make sure that you stop by Solvang. It's a great little touristy spot, and I know that you would definitely love it.
Oh, well, that sounds fantastic. And thank you, and you, and you. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Don't we, Kristine?
Yes, we definitely do. And even though we know that a lot of you listen to us on your commute and you might not be making that commute, just remember to put us on your headphones, take a walk around the block, and put a little pep in your step with the Kris and Kristine show. We appreciate you.
Thank you. That is fantastic. And we will see you guys next week.
Remember this week that life is too short to wake up in the morning with regret.
So love the people who treat you right, forget about the ones who don't, and believe that everything happens for a reason.
If you get a chance, take it. If it changes your life, let it. Nobody said that it would be easy.
They just promised it would be worth it. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kris.
And I'm Kristine, and until next week,
Keep moving forward.